announce recording will start. Oh, it's starting now. Cool. Okay, so we're mid event, but we're definitely getting into the deeper things. And yeah, thank you just so much, everyone. We're going to be also sending out resources of the different versions of sign languages, the different languages around the world. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, Valerie, of like, I thought ASL was like universal, right? I didn't really like think of it as like, and it's interesting that it's called American Sign Language and it's like English. So I'm just like, like, what's that distinction? A lot of questions come up for me, but I think that just kind of shows our like positive ignorance of like, we don't get like, this is not normalized, we don't get like this awareness or this education. Even if you're not deaf or hard of hearing, like I think it's so important to know these different forms of communication. But one of the resources we have on our sheet is like is a person in a video, and they have like American Sign Language on one side and then Spanish Sign Language on another side. Shout out to our team who got that. I think it was Sarah. But yeah, it's super awesome. So you can kind of like see the different versions side by side. But then just imagining, like obviously just as there's different like vocal languages, there's different sign languages as well. So yeah, super awesome. Also check out our social media post. It gives you some education on like, even indigenous sign languages that started. We'll be talking later on about Black American Sign Language, which is just a different version of ASL that had to come about just like on community needs and community basis, like like you were saying, Valerie, like it's hard to not be able to communicate like with your own loved ones or, your friends or even as, a stranger, you kind of have to be aware of the different ways of communication. So thank you so much. Don't want to talk, there's so much we can talk about that, but thank you for engaging in those videos. And I encourage y'all to look up more about the International Day of Sign Language and how people celebrate. And also in our social media posts, we have different folks like that are pretty well known for ASL or different types of sign language. So check them out. Now I'm going to hand it off to Christina to get into a little practice on ASL. We'll be learning the alphabet, and then I'll facilitate like the hi, my name is, and then also pronouns and mannerisms. So let's get it.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Christina. I just first wanted to acknowledge that I am not part of the deaf community or hard of hearing community, but I still wanted to raise awareness and teach you all some basic ASL. So we are going to be learning the ASL alphabet. So we will, after I show you the whole alphabet, we will be putting up, yeah. So we can either keep this up now or I can sign and we can put up the slideshow afterwards. Whatever you all think is best. Are you able to see me well, like clearly? I don't know if it would be
We can,
better.
so yeah, we can keep up the PowerPoint if you want. You can also, anyone
Yeah.
who wants to see Christina only, you can pin her video. If you just go to like your face and then there's a little pin thing, and you can pin that. I'm gonna pin that just because I'm a little bit familiar with the alphabet, so I'm just gonna like follow you though. But yeah, just letting y'all know, or you can unpin it and then you can see everyone kind of smaller, and then you can see the um, PowerPoint.
Cool. So I'm first going to start with A, which is like this. So the thumb is on the side of your hand, and you're going to be using your dominant hand. So for me, it's my right hand. And so I just want to make sure everyone is able to do this. Okay. And then this is B. And C. Yep. And D. And then E. And then F. Yeah, and make sure that, like, it can be kind of confusing sometimes, but make sure that your hand is pointed outwards for this one. And then G. And H. I with your pinky. And then J, this is probably my favorite one, You just go like that. It's pretty fun. And then K, this is a tricky one. So what I do is a peace sign first, and then you put your thumb through, and it kind of looks like a K. Not really, but kind of, if you look close enough. L. This is probably one of the easier ones. M. So you're gonna put your thumb under 3 of your fingers. Make sure it's 3 because N is 2. That can get a little confusing too. And then O. P is basically K, but upside down. So if you need a reminder, peace sign, thumb, upside down. And then Q is like this. Everyone can see, like that. R, you cross your fingers like this. S is similar to A, but your thumb goes in front of your fingers. T is 1 finger over your thumb. U is 2 fingers up. V is basically a peace sign. And then W is you put your 3rd finger up. X is like this. Y. And then Z. So you just kind of spell it out with your finger. So that was the whole alphabet. Y'all can look at the slideshow to see if you just want to reference it to like practice a little bit more. But Fantasy, I wanted to hand it over to you to go over how to sign my name is and then pronouns.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I would encourage y'all, to practice the alphabet. Sometimes finger spelling, is kind of like the initial way that you're able to communicate. And I will acknowledge as well, I am not deaf or hard of hearing or part of the community, but it's definitely something to be aware of, something that I love to practice, and I definitely would love to take the classes when USD offers them. So yeah, I mean, I would even like give it like 1 more minute, and if y'all want to look at the sheet and kind of just practice it by yourself, maybe even do some hand stretches. I know my hands sometimes can't be curved in certain ways, so it's kind of nice to just like get some stretches in. And I know that this is definitely, it's not uncommon to like stretch out your fingers, before practicing ASL. I also want to acknowledge that there was a ASL club at USD. And it was last year, and I think it kind of like got cut a little short because of last semester, but that's another good way to go and practice. I know I was in that org for a minute, and we learned the alphabet. I think you unpin it, you just push like the pin again, so it will have like the X over it when it's pinned, or like the cross or slash. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna practice really a little bit for like 1 more minute. And feel free to take it as fast or slow, as y'all want to. Feel free to take the camera off if you're like, I'm embarrassed, I don't know. It's okay though, we're all practicing here. I always get F and D mixed up. But I remember that D, to say or to communicate like dessert, you put like the 2 D's together. So D for dessert. Super awesome. D. I'm like singing the alphabet in my head too when I do it. My name is, yeah, if your name is long, gotta get those stretches in so you could do a little faster. But thank y'all so much for engaging in that. Again, like I said, feel free to keep practicing. I actually downloaded an ASL app on my phone. I can let y'all know exactly what it is, or I can put it in the resources. But it's pretty cool because it gives you kind of like daily reminders to keep practicing, and you can learn phrases and things like that, so you don't always have to fingerspell. Yeah, Jasmine, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of like yeah, just kind of getting your like you get your mouth like used to like different ways to say certain things in other languages, you know, getting your hands ready to do some workouts. So we will go into the name, or how to say my name is, communicate that, and then pronouns as well. And so the sign for my name is you do my, so kind of just put like your hand, your dominant hand over kind of like your chest, but it's just kind of indicating like, you know, this is yourself. So my, and then name is two, you put like kind of like peace sign, but you'll put them together and then you'll cross them over. I'm putting my, yeah, my right hand over my left because my right is my dominant. And then you just do name, so you'll just tap it twice. So my name is, that's kind of like how you communicate like name is. It's kind of like phrases and like motions turn into like phrases instead of like, you know, like word by word. My name is, and then you'll finger spell your name. And then what I've heard from like the deaf and hard of hearing community is that like they will, or the community can like grant you kind of like a sign for your full name, but like you wouldn't like come up with it yourself if you weren't a part of the community. So just for, you know, I guess beginners, finger spelling is good to do. So I'll do my name and y'all can practice your name. So my name is Fanisee. And then since I have two letters in like the same, I guess, right one after another, you like bounce it. So I did E. So it's not just like I'm like holding the E there, but I'm kind of indicating that like there's two, like I'm doing two separate, the two separate letters. So if you have two letters that like come right after another, I'm just trying to bounce it, however you do the letter. So if it's W, you know, W-A. Sarah, yours is quick. I'm jealous. Maybe I'll do my name's Fan. So my name is, sorry y'all, the F really gets me. Fan. Does anyone want to show us their name and how they do it? Yes, Danny, thank you. We can oh never mind, you can keep it there. But if you want, anyone wants to pin Danny, then you can see full screen. Oh my, whoa. Wait, you already know ASL or what?
Oh, your face.
Can you do it again? I couldn't find your screen.
Oh no, okay, yeah, I can do it again. So my name is Danny, and my name sign is Danny.
Yes, thank you for that. Wait, do you know ASL? Okay, yeah, for sure.
I can hold a conversation, but I'm really slow at finger spelling. And there's some signs I don't know, but I've been studying it for a few years.
And is your name sign because sorry. Is your name sign this because you have glasses? Is that why?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's really funny when I go places and I have contacts on and then I sign this. I'm like, why is that your name sign? Because I have glasses.
Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, that's super awesome. Yeah, you can collaborate next time if we do a part 2. Anyone else?
Yeah. Why you indicate that with glasses? I don't know.
So when you get a name sign, it's someone from the community will give you that, and it's kind of like, it's like a really coveted, like nice thing to get from someone in the community. And the individual I know who signed was my friend's little sister, and that's how she would always like call for me, and she just kind of adopted this for me because that's how she would call that she like wanted to talk to me or, you know, hang out with me, and she'd start doing this because that's how she could like signify that she meant me because I was the only person she knew with glasses, and so that's how my name sign became glasses.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that.
I want to quickly add that in elementary school, I was actually also given a name from the deaf community, and I used to play piano, and that's how my friend who was deaf used to like remember me from. So she would use the letter M and then go like this for piano. So yeah, but I haven't used it since 5th grade.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank y'all so much. Yeah, anyone else want to show us their name?
I can go.
Yes, thank you.
So my name, CHRIST. Yeah.
Yes, the quickness. Okay, so now we're going to learn pronouns, which is one it is pretty interesting. And again, like I am not the pro, and we've done like just some research on it, so not technically super. No, maybe Danny does, but pronouns are pretty interesting because they're almost like how I interpret it. They're almost pretty gender neutral because you're not technically like doing S, HE. Sorry, I'm like learning as we go, but you're not doing SHE or like HE or like THEY. I mean, I think maybe you could, but you kind of just like do I've seen two different versions, so I'll kind of just like share them with you. But a main one is like pointing. So if you're talking about yourself, like me, referring to yourself, just pointing at yourself. If you're talking about like if you're saying most of the thank you so much, Ezra. If you're referring to like another person, most of the information I got was like they use she, her only, but I'm sure it's like it can be them, they, them, or just gender neutral. It's okay if you have to leave early. Thank you so much for joining. We're just going to continue. So if you're referring to another person or like he, she, they, then you just basically point at them, point to the person that you may be like talking about or referring to. Or if you're referring to them and they're not like in the area, you would still kind of like point away because you don't want to put exactly at the person if you're not talking about them, because then it's like you. So if you point at the person you're talking to, you did this, I did this, or they, and like pointing away, so like they did this. There's also people use like the palm, like referring to the palm. So if you're like referring to yourself, I saw the indication of like doing the palms towards yourself, and then it's like me, myself, or you're referring to yourself. And then if you're referring to another person, you put like your palm like that way towards the person. Or like I said, if they're not like in the area you're talking about, like, oh, they said this, then you'd be like, they said this. So I don't know exactly how to sign all of that, but yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. You're kind of just like, you'd be like pointing or directing like the, your hand motion to away. So say like he, she, they. And then there's personal pronouns and then like possessive pronouns. So like this, that, these, stuff like that. But I thought like we would just go over those are personal pronouns. So I wish that I could, you'd be like, my name is Van. And then I wish I could say, and I could use, I'm not that well versed yet, and I use they, them pronouns or she, her pronouns. So yes, I am sorry, that was a little messy, but I would encourage y'all to go look it up because pronouns are definitely important when communicating to other folks. So yes, practice that. Practicing sentences and phrases is also nice because it's harder to like just say like they and not have like a full sentence to refer to. But yes, so I would encourage y'all to do or look more into that. And then something that has been happening in the group, which I love already, I didn't really get to explain it, but some mannerisms are good to know. So instead of like clapping to where you like put your hands together and you like would hear the sound, some folks do signing clapping with kind of waving their hands, like having them open and then waving them, either shaking them like this or just like jiggling them. And that was like kind of indicates, like that visual sense of like people are clapping. So yeah, if y'all want to practice that. It's something that I utilize just because like I'm always like resonating with certain things and I'm like, oh, this is cool, this is cool. So, okay, sorry. I think I took way too long for all of this, but thank you so much. We're going to go into the next session, which should be about like 10 to 10-ish minutes. I know that we're only here for like 9. So passing it off to Sarah.
Sorry. So right now we're going to talk about Black American Sign Language. So there's a video. I can drop it in the chat if you guys can take just, it's a quick 1 minute video. Okay, thank you, Miso. If you guys can watch it and come back and we'll debrief. I'll just give 1 more minute. Okay, I think we're good. So I just wanted to start off just opening it up to some questions for discussion. Have you guys ever heard of Black ASL? Have y'all ever learned about it or had any previous experience with it? I know I haven't, so don't be ashamed to say no.
Um, I um, I hadn't either, and recognizing how little I know about this topic, it's been really opening to even see. I know that we posted, or it's been posted on social media, some educational content on even potentially as many as 300 different sign languages. It's been really eye-opening, and then at the same time, it doesn't surprise me that there is a Black American Sign Language because I think that the way we interact with each other, like culture really kind of plays like into it, you know. I've been able to see how, um, even my background being from Puerto Rico, like how we interact differently. And so it doesn't surprise me that that also translates into sign language. So, which is w- what I think that's actually, what that is, what drives that difference there. But yeah, it's just been really eye-opening to um, to see all that and to learn so much about it because it's been something that I haven't been exposed to, and I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for saying that and mentioning as well as um, I think as folks have been saying in the chat as well that maybe you've heard a little bit about it or never heard about it at all, but the importance that it makes sense that it is a thing. I think culturally um, we all interact differently, and it makes sense to to have a form of communication that fits your culture, your community. But why is it not being talked about? Why is it not in our history books? Why is it kind of something we have to go out of our way to research? Were there any words or messages from that video that stuck out to you? Feel free to share in the chat or on mic too.
I think when they were talking about how, like, explaining what a Black ASL was, and they're like, well, it's just a feeling, you just know, you understand. It reminds me of things in Spanish that I'm constantly trying to translate, and how the meaning gets lost when I try to translate it. It's like, do you translate the actual word, or do you translate like the message or the description of something? And so that resonated with me, which is why I said I've never heard of it before, but it makes sense why that would come about.
Yes, that's actually so important too, and thank you for making that connection, because just as in the video that one gentleman said, you don't have to be Black to know Black ASL, but it also kind of helps, I mean, I think make that community tight. Is it's part of your experience, it's part of your upbringing, it's who you are. And so sometimes that message, that deeper like meaning that maybe if you just belong to the community, you might know a little bit better, but doesn't mean you can't know or learn. And then lastly, what are some things that in your family, and I think we've touched on it a little bit, in your family, in your household, that is unique to your community that you don't really see talked about in the greater, I think, community or in the country? If you'd like to share.
Can you repeat the question again?
What are some things that you say in your family and your household that are unique to the way you communicate in your community and your culture, whatever identity you hold? I know for me, for example, I think it kind of connects being Black. I think the way I interact with my grandparents is very unique and different. I think I've seen in other households maybe don't interact that way. I know also sharing about Spanish, speaking Spanish, sometimes the words don't quite translate. You lose that meaning, something kind of like that. If y'all want to share any more examples.
One example that I can think about when it comes to communication is greetings. So my background is Mexican, and so the way we say hello to each other, it's double kisses, we hug each other. There's just like close proximity of our loved ones. And I often forget, it throws me off when I'm introduced to a stranger and it's the same expectation that, we're going to give each other 2 kisses, because then when I'm in the US, it's like there's always people really far away. So it throws me off, but that's a part of communication. I feel like it's kind of body language.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
I completely agree with that. And Daniela, because I'm at often places where I'm like, I'm not sure, should I do this? Should I not? And even among the Latino community, like there's a lot of difference. Like we do 1 kiss on the cheek, and I've been able to see like some people do like, again, multiple and the hugs and everything like that. And I never know what to do or how to do it depending on the situation. And then sometimes it's just awkward too, because I'm noticing that I'm pausing because I'm not sure what to do. So
no, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's exactly, it can relate exactly to that experience of, it's for the community, you grew up with it, will it make someone else uncomfortable? Will they know, but I think just to be mindful of time and respect y'all's time, just want to briefly mention Fantasy dropped the kind of history description of Black ASL. But just to give a quick run through, it did stem from the community, the African American deaf community, and it was influenced largely by segregation, and we still see it to this day. And so kind of talking about its importance of keeping that tight-knit community, keeping that history alive. And I think that It can be something that that community is proud of, but I also think that it can be brought into our history books now, talked about in circles that don't necessarily hold Black identities or deaf or hard of hearing communities. And I think that as well, talking about that, we can definitely tie this into the conversation of intersectionality and talk about the experiences of not only disabled individuals, but also Black disabled individuals, and that those experiences. Um, I also have another link that I can drop in the chat just to get some more history to do your own research, as well as just learn a little bit more about what's organizations are doing today about to keep, I guess, educated and keep the conversation going. But thank you all.
So really quick, I just wanted to go over. Oh, sorry, Fantasy, were you talking? Okay, so if we could go to the raffle slide, that would be awesome. Yeah, so on our Instagram, if you follow us and the UFMC Instagram, you can see that we posted about having a giveaway, and we will be, if you comment, either if you want the t-shirt or the clear face masks, you can indicate that in the comments, and then tag 2 people, friends, family, whoever, and you will be entered to win in the giveaway. For the t-shirt and the face mask, the images are on our Instagram, so go check those out. And I did want to, yeah, they're really, really awesome. And we also wanted to take a group picture, so if we could stop screen sharing, that would be awesome. Okay. Is everyone ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, awesome. Thank you all. And then I just wanted to hand it over to Jasmine really quick to say our
Yeah, so we hope that today helped shed some light on where we are as a global community and our efforts towards a more inclusive environment for the deaf and the hard hearing community. You can help us continue this conversation by attending our general board meetings or by interacting with our Instagram page that Christina mentioned earlier. We always post super helpful resources and links that are on social media, so they're not hard to find. They're not hard to share with others either. We already took the group picture, so thanks a lot for that. And thanks again so much for coming and for helping us celebrate International Day of Sign Language. I believe Miso had a closing comment as well.
Yeah, thank you all so much for staying a few minutes after. I will be sharing all the videos that we have watched today and a follow-up email in addition to a few more resources. I highly recommend you check out our Instagram page. You don't have to follow us if you don't want to, but just check out our posts that we have to commemorate and bring awareness of today's holiday. So thank you all so much for coming. Thank you, ADA, so much for creating such an amazing event today, and have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.
Bye. Thank you all.
Bye.
Fantasy, I think you're mute. I don't know. I can't hear you.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, everyone. It's been a really great honor to work with you all again and collaborate. And I've learned so much through this. So just really wanted to show my genuine appreciation for all of you.